Hopefully, I gave enough time ahead of time for some people to be ready to come in for this live. Uh, Hope everybody's doing all right. How is this? See here. Mm. While I'm waiting for some people to come in, I guess I can get started on talking. Weather down here in the south still pretty typical. Now it's not in the 90s and 100s like it has been. It's out the mid to upper 70s to lower 80s in the daytime, and the night time's been in the upper 40s, lower 50s, so it ain't been too bad. And depending on your tolerance to the cold at night, some people sleep with the window up. And I'm one of those crazy. If it's just up in the 40s, lower 50s, I will sleep with the window up. Mainly let the house air out before it starts to get to the point that it gets cold enough you don't want to open up the windows. Now there was 1 or 2 days where it didn't really get that warm here. There was one day it rained on again, off again the most of the day, and it was in the upper 50s. Made it to right at 60 for the daytime. And then the next day was like the lower 60s. But the day after that, it was back to being in the 70s and 80s again. So I guess you could say we had a, a somewhat lukewarm day for one day, and that was it. But I guess say living here down here in the south, you get used to the warm days, even in the wintertime. And especially if you come from up north, or if you visit up north a lot, where you get to see plenty of brutally cold weather and a lot of snow, you you get accustomed to it and you actually start to love it. Now, if you're one of those that you love cold weather and you love the snow, you will be highly disappointed down here in the south because you won't really get a whole lot of either one. Now, you'll have a few days, maybe up to you'll have a few days, maybe up to a week, maybe two, all together in the fall and winter that you can recall real cold jacket weather. And it's rare that we get snow down here. And if we do, it's a light dusting and it's gone within no time. Maybe even the next day by midday. Because it don't get real cold enough for it to stay on the ground. And there with the last couple of years, we have been getting where it's up to a week of cold weather. There was one year it was 4 days. Thursday for news. It was started that late Thursday night and into Friday morning. You might as well say 12:01. It was Friday, real early Friday morning. It lasted from that Friday morning until Monday, and it snowed on because it was in the daytime from that Friday until that Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I don't think it got above 11 degrees those couple of days, and the nighttime lows were right there in the close to the negatives. Hey, Miss Donut, or hey, Miss Fawn. I was talking about the warm weather here in the South. I don't know how much of that you heard, but it's been in the 70s and 80s. And uh, we usually have mild to warm winters here. The last couple of weeks been in the 70s and 80s. We had one day where it was in the upper 50s to low 60s, and that mainly because it rained that day and the sun didn't come out till late that evening. And if you're one of those that you love the cold weather or snow, you're not going to get a whole lot, if any, of either one down here. You may get up to, I'm doing all right, Miss Fawn. How are you doing? My voice ain't fully back yet, but it's getting there. But you may get up to 1, maybe 2 weeks of cold weather. And that's from October until March. You may get 2 weeks worth of cold weather, if that you'd really need jackets to wear. But the last 2 years, we've gotten one solid full week of real bad cold weather, and that'd be about it. That's good, Miss Fawn. Now the first one lasted 4 days. It came in at a real early Friday morning. This was right of the days leading up to Christmas, and lasted to the day after Christmas, where the daytime highs didn't get much above between 11 and 15 degrees, and the nighttime lows are right there at zero or in the negatives. And we got snow on that. I'm not really doing much of anything on Halloween night. I might do a live stream that night for maybe 30 minutes. But where I go to church at's doing a trunk or treat, and what they going to do is have people have their cars parked around, and they're going to hand out candy from the back of their vehicles, and that's just the way they're going to do it. What's your plans, Miss Fawn? Now, I don't know if I'll go to it or not because I don't have a vehicle. I might go and help hand out candy, but I'll know more about that tomorrow. But that Monday, the day after Christmas, we got snow, and believe it or not, it got up to 14 degrees that Monday. And because I'd spent a few days with my friend, because the heat in my house at that time wasn't real great. And he said I could come and spend that 4 or 5 days. Well, I ended up staying 2 weeks with him because he lives by himself and I'm living by myself. Miss Fawn, you can join me on a live stream if I do one that night. But I ended up staying 2 weeks because I live by myself and he lives by himself. Sometimes, Miss Fawn, that's the best thing in the world to do. Drink you some of that tea you love drinking. And anyway, that Monday got to 14 degrees. We got about almost a foot of snow. Woke up on that Tuesday and it got nearly to 70 degrees. The snow was melted by 10 a.m. And from January 1st all the way out to when spring started, it never got below 60 degrees for a daytime high the rest of the way out. That's good. I'm drinking some Mountain Dew or what's left of it, and I ain't had a Dr. Pepper since Sunday night, and then after tonight I'll be drinking water till Friday. But and that was the last of the real bad cold weather we had that year. on into the next year. And it wasn't until February of this year till we had another real bad little cold snap. But leading up to, I think it was the second week in February, it had been in the 60s and the 70s like it is now, for daytime highs. And even got a couple of tornadoes in December, January, and the first week of February. Cream soda is pretty good every now and again. I don't drink a whole lot of it, but I still like it. And then in the second week of February, we got a ice storm. Now, it wasn't like anything like it was in the early 90s when that one came through. But from that Monday until Thursday, mug root beer. I like all brands of root beer, but now when I go down to Cracker Barrel, I'm sure they have it. And all the Cracker Barrels, that portion of the wall that has all those different brands of drinks, I'll buy every one of those brands of root beer they have over there because they actually taste better than some of those we get down here in the South. Because down here we get that A&W and mug root beer. And then a couple of the mom and pop run grocery stores around here have their own brand of root beer that's pretty good. But in February this year, we got an ice storm. But Monday through Thursday, you couldn't really go nowhere because our road systems, our street departments aren't set up for getting snow and ice. And it was Friday before you could actually start driving back on the roads again. And the cold weather really didn't last that long. From Monday till about Thursday, I don't think it got much above 12 degrees. And then by that Friday, it got up to 45. Saturday, it got up to about 50, and then it was back in the 60s and 70s again. And yeah, I seen where Florida got hit, but that was that one that first one that came through. Yeah, we got the very end of it, and it did. Well, now where I live at, it didn't do a whole lot of damage here. The winds were one of those winds that if you had a real old metal building that wasn't in good shape or a lot of loose stuff outside, it was going to go flying around. And some of our power line poles got pushed down in some trees because the ground was saturated. And I see a couple of join us in here. Maybe they'll start talking to us. Hey to the ones in here with us. But, I love the weather here in the South. Like I say, it don't get that cold. You may have a couple of days here and there that'll add up to maybe 2 weeks that'll get real bad cold, and that's it. Otherwise, you can get away with in the daytime wearing a short sleeve shirt. And now, the nighttime, you might have to wear a jacket because it'll get in the 40s and 50s and maybe like the upper 30s, and that'd be about it. And I know this coming weekend, it may be Friday night or Saturday. No, it may be either one of those nights. I ain't made up my mind which. I will be doing a ghost hunt and filming it and uploading it. And see how well the video does. And if the video does good, I will upload it. And if the video does good, I'll keep uploading some more of them just to see how well y'all like it. And if y'all don't like it, I really want to upload many more of them. The one reason I ain't uploaded a lot of the ones I've done, because a lot of y'all know there's a lot of fake ghost channels out there, and most people out there, you see somebody out there ghost hunting, the first year thing they'll think I was always part of those that that does those fake ghost hunting, and that's not it. But I'm glad to be back doing these lives again. I know they're not the most exciting things in the world to come into and everything, but I enjoy them and enjoy getting to talk to what few people show up and everything. And yeah, I got to talk about a funny event that I had when I went to do so. Most people on this channel know I do some sleepwalking from time to time. I've talked about it. And about, I don't know, about a week ago, I woke up and I was standing in front of for my fishing pole, doing my best Darth Vader voice, and I was saying, "I find your lack of productivity. No, I find your lack of urgency unappealing, and trying to do a star or a death choke or a force choke on a fishing pole." Now, what brought that up, I don't know, because I hadn't watched Star Wars in a while. But it was funny and everything. I got a good laugh about it. I ain't never done anything, real bad, crazy sleepwalking. There was one time I kind of woke up, or I had a dream that I'd put some spaghetti in a coffee pot. And when I woke back up later, because this was back when I worked nights, and I woke up later that evening to go look, and I put a spaghetti in a coffee pot, and then put it in the microwave. Now, what my mind was thinking during all that, I have no idea, but I'm just glad I didn't turn it on because it could have gotten ugly quick. And for some of those that know who I'm about to talk about, I talked to Bayou. He's another YouTuber that lives in Huntsville, which is 45 minutes to an hour drive, depending on traffic and everything. But I'll be doing a video with him here in the here upcoming soon. Now, I don't know when he's planning on doing another live stream, but I know that I'm in talk to try to get him to do at least one live stream with me and then do a video of me do some ghost hunting. But as far as him doing one on his channel, I have no idea. And if I could get Noah down here, we'll be making a whole bunch of videos again, or doing videos. But went and saw that movie Alien Romulus. It was a pretty good. Well, me and him done one video together. It was that Union Hill ghost hunt we done on a live stream. That was 7 years ago. About 6, 7 years ago by now, Miss Fawn, something like that. You'd have to go way back. I think that was about close to 5, 6, 7 years ago. You have to go way back on his channel to see that. But me and him done that one live stream. It was me, him, and his son, and my dad. And we had a special appearance by an idiot who was arguing with us. But and then he came to Scottsboro 2 more times after that. But that was back when I hurt my knee and I was having to walk around on crutches. And I really couldn't meet up with him to do the live stream ghost hunts with him. Because he went to one cemetery that's close to the hospital. And the pass he went through, I wouldn't have been able to use the crutches or a wheelchair. And I just had to have been sitting. Well, there's no real paths for people in wheelchairs to get through there. And I'm not trying to hobble between gravestones and using crutches. And then yeah, that guy there, I was glad he finally left. He kept driving by and then parking at a spot across the road watching us, but there was nothing he could really do. And plus, me and my dad had enough guns with us in the vehicle that he didn't want to start doing nothing stupid. And we ended up petting the horses that were around there. They actually watched us do our live stream for all, probably wondering what in the world we were doing. But the other graveyard he did when he was over this way, now it's almost 400 years old. If I can get a way to get down to it, I'll make a video about it and show y'all this graveyard. But it's 400 years old, and the last person buried in it was 1914. I think the last time somebody was buried in it. And it's a hippie looking graveyard. And you have to park at the bridge and walk, depending on what part of the bridge you got to park, right, baby, between a football field length to get to it. Walk up these stairs going up a hill, and they haven't really. They tried maintaining it at one time a couple of years ago, and for about 2 years, they did pretty good on keeping it clean. It was the Boy Scouts who done it. But for whatever reason, the last 4 or 5 years, they haven't bothered trying to keep it clean. And if you're not careful walking through there, you'll trip over a gravestone or fall in one of those big old holes there. And I was not going to try to hobble through there using crutches when he went, but if you can find that video where he did on that, it's a good video to watch. But one day here soon, I'll be planning on going down there and doing a video on it and giving y'all the historical facts about it and everything. And it used to be where the courthouse for Scottsboro used to be at back when it was a thriving town. But for whatever reason, they moved the courthouse from there in Hollywood to over to Scottsboro. And you'll find a few spots here and there of the old remnants of buildings and houses and all they let fall down. But it's a pertinent, pretty neat little graveyard and everything. And for the life of me, I can't even remember this graveyard's name. But I know Bayou did a video on it. But I know he's got the word Hollywood, Alabama in it. And the video is not that old. I think it's probably about 2, 3 years old by now. So it'd be well worth going to watch. And as far as I know, Miss Vanna's doing all right. I was hoping she may show up, but there's times she makes it to Noah's video and the times she don't. So ain't no telling if she'll show. I know she's doing all right. I'm just hoping that one guy in California that always showed up, I hope he's doing all right. But if I remember right, he has something going on with his family, and I hope everything's doing all right with that. Now, if you watch this video on replay, I'm sorry I forget your name, and I hope you're doing all right. But it'd be nice, Gabriel. I hope Gabriel's doing all right. I ain't seen him and by user Noah's videos in a while, so I hope he's all right. And I forget the others that used to pop up, but I hope they're doing all right too. But yeah, Miss Fauna, I plan on doing a more variety of videos because I know sitting here seeing me talk really ain't that fun. And I know those going riding around with me videos ain't that fun. Now I'm planning on doing some more exploration videos of a lot of historical sites around here and of a lot of abandoned places. And there's this one place that's an abandoned town that I would love to take y'all to. It's just without a vehicle, it's hard to get to some of these places, but I plan on doing some more of those videos like that. And I hope they're doing all right too, Miss Fawn. I'm sure they'll, I know it being the start of the work week, they probably got a lot going on. I appreciate this, Miss Fawn. You and one other person that I noticed are pretty loyal about showing up and watching. Yeah, and now that other person doesn't leave a like or a comment, but I appreciate them showing up. But I do promise that my videos will start getting better. It's just a little rough right now, but I'm thankful to be making the videos I able to make for now. And I know that video I did on riding or showing where I live. I did all right. I know it's nothing fancy, but I like it here, and it's pretty quiet. Now the lady that lives in the camper beside me, she fully moved out the other day. Well, actually, that day I made that video, she was moved fully out and moved into the next town over, which I'm proud she did get her a better place. Well, I see it's back down to just me and you, Miss Fawn. I guess that other person must have got bored of us. But I do appreciate a lot of my viewers that regularly come in. Now, that one Muslim guy that well, I don't know exactly if he was Muslim, but he only left a comment in that video I did about religion and everything. I would love for him to, if he ever came back to another video and watched it, I would love to actually get to talk to him and actually do a video with him or do a live stream with him and to kind of get his views of if he lives overseas, how everything's going over there. All right, now I think there might be three of us in here. I ain't real for sure, but I wouldn't mind getting to talk to that one Muslim guy. I know I looked on the statistics of my channel, and it's distributed. I think it's like 70% women that watch, and a little over 30% men. And most everybody that watches is, I think it's like a 0.1% is in their 20s and 30s. And I'm just seeing the one on my end, but that's all right. We can have fun talking. I think it's like 0.1% in their 20s and 30s. 0.1% in their 40s. And then the rest of them's 50 or older, which I don't mind. I try to make videos that appeal to everybody, men, women, no matter what age group they belong to. I try to keep it friendly. And, if a lot of older people enjoy my videos, that's fine too. And I think it was like 80, I think it was up in the 90 percentile, way up there in the high 90 percentile of the people that watch my video are from the United States. And there was like a real small percentage that watched it overseas. I think some of the ones overseas were like, I think there was a small percentage in the United Kingdom and then Kuwait and one other place. I think it was down toward Africa or something like that. But some of those we get in and get active in my videos. I wouldn't mind talking to them during a live stream. Have like do like a dual video where their face could appear along with me. I know you can do that on a computer, and I've done it on a cell phone before. And the way it was done on a cell phone, at least on my end. Now, when it comes to computer, I know your face will appear, but you'll see a round circle on my cell phone where my face is at, and then you'll get to see the rest of the persons hosting the live stream. Well, that's good, Miss Fauna. I'm sure we won't be able to take out all the trolls, but at least you got one of them took out. Can't say I ever heard of that guy, but at least you got that one took out for the time being. I'm pretty sure he was cause I don't know what he did, but I'm glad you took him out. How's the weather up towards your way, Miss Flan? Is it still cold up there? I know I was watching the Weather Channel, and well, not really the Weather Channel. It's Max something here on YouTube, but they say there's a chance y'all might get some snow up your way, and there's also a chance of some severe weather coming y'all's way. I think today or tomorrow, something like that, or Thursday, something along those lines. I'll have to look him up and see what he's all about, Miss Fawn. But I can't remember what part of Michigan was under that severe weather threat. But stay safe up there, and if you happen to get snow, stay safe up there. Wish I could send some of this warm, beautiful weather your way. It's been, with the exception of yesterday, or it might have been the day before, it's been clear blue skies here. The temperature's up in the 70s, close to 80. And today, I don't want to see any snow at all, Miss Fawn. I can live without it. But today, I kind of looked out and listened to after I got off of work. I feel right up from my house. You can see in part of that video I did about where I was filming, where I lived at, but he was getting some of that cotton up front up the road, and I kind of watched him do that, and it was, and I know a lot of people might think it's boring watching people pick corn and cotton and baling hay and everything, but it's actually pretty fun to watch how they do it, because I don't know how they do it up north, and I know out west does it about like how we do it. They'll have now as far as the soybean and the corn goes, there'll be an 18-wheeler where they'll be pulling like an open top trailer behind them alongside the tractor that's picking it up, and you see this tube going over there to it, putting the corn and the soybean into it. Or they don't want to do it like that if they don't feel comfortable doing that or ain't got the people to do it. They'll wait till the tractor gets filled up, drive back to it, empty out, go back until they get done with the field. Now, the cotton gets done the same way that hay gets done. They'll have except for it's done a little bit different. They'll have this rolling pin thing in front of the tractor, and and they'll be scooping up the cotton into the tractor and turning it into this one long square bale that's, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 foot long. And it's pretty neat to watch. They can make I think they can make, depending on the quality of the cotton, up to $10,000 a bale. And that's pretty, you can get like, depending on the size of your field, 6, 7 bales per field. And if you got quite a few of them, you rolling into some money, but after maintenance and the tractors and all that, you ain't going to have a lot of money left over, but it's good money in it. And baling hay is pretty simple. You got to cut it down first with a tractor, then go back with these rakes behind it and get it into these lines, and then go behind it with a baler. And most people around here, they'll save at least 80% of it for their cows for the fall and winter. And the other 20-30% they'll sell. And they can make, I think it's anywhere $15-$20 a bale. And by the time they get done selling it, they can make a couple of $1,000s off of it. So there's good money into doing stuff like that if you got the time, the money, and the land to do all that. Maybe he will, Miss Fawn. I halfway paid attention to the last video he did, which was pretty good, but maybe he'll get back into doing some more exploring and doing some ghost hunting. And it's finally, deer season around here is in the full swing. And I went deer hunting the other day, and right now it's bow season, gun season hadn't started. It's still got a while on that. But I got to shoot at one deer and I missed it. And went and found it. Took me about 30 minutes to an hour to find out where my arrow went, because I was sitting up on the shelf, kind of shooting down into a valley. And when I missed the deer, I could hear it bouncing around off of trees and brush through there. So it took me about an hour to find an arrow. And by the time I got down to the bottom of this little valley, or this little hill, I was like, well, I'm not climbing all the way back up there. And I stayed down there and happened upon where a creek was at. And when the active game shot, I got me a small dose. I'm pretty happy. Well, the killing part of it's not, I know it's not for a lot of people and it's not no fun. But the meat sure is good once you get done cooking it. And the bad thing about it was, it was the middle of the heat of the day. And it took me nearly 2 hours to drag that from the bottom of that little ravine there all the way back to where my cousin's vehicle was. Yeah, fishing's pretty fun. I ain't been in a while. Mainly because most people I know, they kind of burn out on fishing or really don't go a whole lot anymore. They got their own personal ponds they fish out of. But I haven't been to the river and fished in a while. But the river we got flowing through here, even though it's a pretty well-known river, you don't want to eat the fish out of it because it's pretty contaminated. And I quit eating the fish out of there 20 years ago. It's pretty fun for somebody that's just beginning. I advise going with a floater. That way you're getting a bite. Or if you don't want a floater on there and you think it looks stupid having one on there, it's pretty easy to tell when you get a bite without one on there. I mainly suggest starting out like that till you get pretty comfortable and knowing what you're doing and what it feels like getting a fish on there. Now, if you want to start throwing artificial baits and reeling them back in, it takes a lot of practice and knowing how each one of them moves underwater and how to position the pole and do them all that. But that takes years of fishing to get that good at doing all that. But nowadays, back when I was in my teenage years, I did a lot of bass fishing, and but I wasn't that great at bass fishing. Not like my cousins, my dad, and all them was. But I was more of a crappie and catfisher. Now, when it came to crappie and catfish, I could outfish just about anybody. And I got real good at doing that. I used worms. Usually when I went crappie fishing, I used worms or minnows, or then I get those artificial minnows with grum worms attached to them. And you can either use that with a float or without a float. But with the artificial manner, you got to keep it moving. Let it sit there for 30 seconds, move it. If you got a floater on, if you don't, move it every 10 seconds to make it look like it's alive. And then catfishing's pretty simple. Yeah, the best thing to use for catfishing is either hot dogs or a chicken liver. But if you're going to use chicken liver, it's real easy to throw it off. I went duck hunting one time and I don't like the taste of duck. And I went one time and I had fun, but I only ever went that one time and that's been it. Man, I go turkey hunting. I haven't been turkey hunting in probably 10 years, but I still, or you've seen the videos of me going looking for deer and turkey, and I still enjoy going out looking for them because there's places that we go that you can, the most we ever saw in one day riding on those roads I've took y'all on was right at 102 turkeys in one day. But yeah, turkey hunting's pretty fun, but the bad thing about killing a turkey is once you shoot it, you pretty much got to go run up to it and tackle it and stab it because it will fly off. The because when me and my dad and his friend first started doing that, it wasn't unusual for us to see anywhere between 60 to 100 turkeys a day that we went because we was going out pretty much every day because either I was off or went in later on in the day that I could actually enjoy going out there with them. And like I said, we started doing this 7 years ago. 7 years ago, riding around just a lot of back roads and all that, and it's kind of out in the country, away from the city, and we see between 60 to 100 turkeys a day, and anywhere from. Now I want to add this up in a week because you're not going to see deer every single day, but we'd probably about 15 deer a week. Now, there was a stretch last year on into this year that we saw at least between 1 and 3 deer a day. We got up to 7 days, 2 or 3 times. So yeah, something like that. Got up to a week straight, 2 or 3 times, where we was at least seeing 1 deer a day. And then we had a couple of stretches where it was between 2 and 5 days we'd see at least one. But when it usually on a margin, you might see a couple of deer a week. You might even go a whole month without ever seeing one. Now, when it starts getting cool out, that's when you'll start. But a year and a half, we noticed that we started seeing less and less turkey. And it's not like the spots we go to are actually getting hunted out a whole lot to the point it would cut the population down that bad. But we went from seeing 60 to 100 turkey a day to the last year and a half to maybe 5 to 30 a day. And it was lucky, and we was lucky to even get up to the 30. It usually stay between 5 and 30 a day. And we don't know what's happened to them because, well, anybody that knows anything about deer and turkey, they're not going to stay in one spot for very long, but it's not going to get to the point where, hundreds of them will go missing at one time. You still have pretty good population that'll hang around, but we don't know if it's gotten to the point to where they're getting overhunted or the chemicals they use to kill the weeds and all that along the road that's starting to get to them, or they've just moved on to other places or what, but we ain't been seeing as many of them as we used to, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I don't know when he's planning on doing another one, Miss Fawn. Hopefully it'll be here soon. He doesn't really announce when he does his, but maybe here soon he'll do another one. I'd love to be able to get back to the hunting management areas. I've only ever done a video on them a handful of times because there's really not much to see other than woods. But I would love to go back out to the management area and let y'all see them again. Because it's pretty out there and they've kind of remodeled some of those and got them looking better than they was. And there's this one it's about a 40-minute drive from here that we like going to more than we do the one that's about 25 minutes from here. Yeah, his live streams are pretty fun to watch. I think just about everybody has fun on them. But there's one management area. I took a few videos of it. It's on the other opposite mountain from us. That I don't know when I'll be able to get back to it. I hope it's here soon. But there's this one spot. If I'm in a four-wheel drive, I'll be able to get pretty close to it. But we have to go on the main road to get on the side road and get on another side road to get to it. But it's a pretty overlook into this and back into the Scottsboro, looking back down into Scottsboro that I believe y'all would love to take a look at. But and then the one that we got that's, about 25, 30 minutes from us, it's all right. But it's one of those, if you don't go on up into the mountain parts of it, you're not going to see the real beauty of the woods and everything. You'll just see a bunch of cornfields. Yeah, that's a fun game to play. I ain't played it in a while, but it's a fun game to play. And I have made people cry playing that game. But anyway, I think I want to get off here and get a few things done before I go to bed tonight. I enjoyed this live stream, and I'm thankful for everybody that showed up. And Miss Fawn, I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I'll probably see y'all I know I'll see y'all in the next video, and I'll be doing another live stream or two this week, kind of get caught up, and hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's night, and thank you for everybody that'll watch this on replay.